Very well.
Today is August 28th, 2024, and lunch today is gonna be manager's choice. On the go, there is none, and tomorrow, breakfast is manager's choice. Today's birthday is Ashlyn A, and we've got FTA during lunch, to see Mr. Allen or Mr. Millette for more details. There's gonna be a D&D meeting today during lunch in the library for anyone interested, and picture day is today. Senior banners are starting at 1 and 12:40.
To you, I assume that you are done with assignment 1 and that you're done with assignment 2. If that's not the case, I assume that you're at least far enough along that you're feeling like, hey, I'm pretty good. I know what I'm doing. I just have some problems. Maybe I need to finish up today or tomorrow, right? So this will be assignment 3. This is what the lesson is about. And I have 4. I only have 4 examples. I can do more, but I don't think when we're done with this, you're going to probably be very lost. I think you're going to be fine. So here's our first example. I only get one chance to do this with you for the first time. I put a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure on myself today because the habits that we form here today are going to stick with us. So I'm going to try to give you, again, my spin, and I'm giving you my spin just in the interest of hoping that you'll be successful and always kind of feel the right vibe with a problem like this. So I'm going to be a little bit bossy. First off, I wanted to tell you that when I asked you what should we do to this equation, the answer in all of our previous time together has always been one answer. There has been one right answer. If I said to Surik, like, what should we do? It has always been one answer. Today, there are 4 correct answers, but there's one best. If I said to Wyatt, hey, what do you want to do? He could say, Mr. Ahern, I want to add 4 to both sides. And I wouldn't have any problem with that. I wouldn't do it, but I don't have a problem with it because he's making progress. If he adds 4 to both sides, who does he kill? The -4, that's progress, dudes. If you're making something go away and get smaller and shorter, you're making progress, right? And I could say to Jackson, what do you want to do? And he could say, I want to subtract the 5x. And I'd say, okay, I'm not going to do it, but you go ahead. It would work because he'd get rid of the 5x, right? And if I said to LJ, what do you want to do? He could say, well, I'm really not liking that 12. I'm going to subtract 12. All 3 of those guys gave me correct answers, but not the one that I would like for you to get stuck in your head. What I want you to do first with equations like this, here it goes, my one chance to get this in your head. I only get one shot. Here it goes. I always want you to control the variables first. Not because I care, because it'll help you. What I mean by that is you should put on blinders and not even look at the -4 and the +12. As far as we're concerned, they're dead to us. We should always control the variables early because if we're smart about this, we can keep from ever having to get a negative number on our variables. I'm going to do something and I don't want you to do it. Just watch. If I do this, do not write this down. Did I do something good?
You have negative.
I think I did something good. I got rid of the 5x, didn't I? So that's progress. But like Keith said, I don't know if you heard him, the problem is
You got a negative.
on the
2.
left side, I'm going to get a negative. And I can avoid that 100% of the time if I want to. Now, am I saying that kids can't do negatives? No, I play the odds. So when we go through these problems, what I say to you is let's control our variables and let's do it early. You can always control your variables by looking at the 2 x's and just answering this question. It's a 3rd grade question. Who's smaller, 3 or 5?
3.
Then let's kill 3. If you always pick the x one with the smaller number and kill it first, watch this. Now I want you to write this down. Watch what happens. I did 2 really cool things here. Number 1, obviously, I killed the 3 x's. But
Now you
number
have a
2,
2x.
I have a positive 2x instead of a negative 2x. And when I'm done at the end, I get to divide by 2 instead of -2. Again, we're all like in high school. Can we handle dividing by -2? I think so. It just improves our chances a little bit, maybe. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, just like we've been doing before, I'm going to flush everything downwards. I've controlled my variables. I have grabbed them and forced them into one place, and it looks like this. -4 equals 2x plus 12. And this should now look just like yesterday's homework. You see that now there's 2 steps left to go. And when I ask this time, if I go around the room this time and say, what do you want to do? How many right answers are there to the question of what do we do now? There is one.
Plus one.
It's not up to us. It's not up for debate. It's not up for touchy-feely discussion. You will subtract 12 because you're trying to get the x by itself. And if you think about the relative location of it, who's bugging the 2x? Well, it's not the 4, it's the 12. So we are going to take away 12 from both sides like this. Once you do that first move, your path is set. So I'm going to cross out my 12s, and just like we're going to keep doing, I'm going to bring down the structure. I'm going to bring down the 2 and the x and the equals. And then as always, I'm going to hope that I can do this math. What's -4 minus 12? Yes, all day long, -16. This is a 3-step, a very standard 3-step equation. 2 down, 1 to go. What's the last step? Divide by 2. Bring down the structure. X equals, what do we get? Box it up, send it. And we're going to do more examples. They're just not going to be as long because I'm not going to be as long-winded about it. I've made my case. I want you to control your variables right away. You put them where you want them. You're the boss of the problem. Then everyone else can just fall in line after that. Next one. Who are we ignoring? You bet. They're dead to me. In fact, I can hardly even see the 11 and the 46 because they're so dead to me. I'm not interested in them. I'm interested in controlling the letters. So which one is the smaller of the 2 letter terms? Let's get rid of that one. So to get rid of a 2y, what do we do? Let's all do it together. I'm pouring some coffee here, but I'll be right back with you. You're probably already a step ahead of me. So here we go. We're going to subtract 2y like that and like that. We're going to cross out those 2 y's, and now we're going to just flush down. Every time you do a step, you just flush down all the remnants. So I'm going to bring down the 46. I'm going to bring down the 11. And what is 7y minus 2y? Just like this. One step down, 2 to go. What is the next step? Non-negotiable. That 11's got to go. 46 isn't bugging anybody, but 11 is. So we got to take away 11 like this. Cancel those out. Bring down your 5y and your equals. Then we could do some math. What's 46 minus 11? What is the last thing we'll do? We will divide by 5. Box it up. Send it. I have 2 more examples for you. I don't remember. Oh, yes, I remember now the specific reasoning behind each. When I write your lessons, I try to write as few as I can. My goal is always to get every thought I need to convey to you packaged into as few problems as possible. So these next 2 problems serve 2 different purposes. Here comes the next one. I am not going to make fun of you if you answer the following question incorrectly, and no one is. But I will tell you that if you say the wrong thing when I ask this question, you should have some introspection and say to yourself, maybe I need to work on some stuff. Bless you. So here it goes. Who are we ignoring? 4 and -8. Hardly see them. They're not there. I'm looking at those X's like a hawk. Here it comes. And if you answer this wrong, it's not because you're stupid. It's because you need practice. Who's smaller, -10x or -7x? Negative 10x is smaller. What happens is a lot of times we get it stuck in our head that, well, 7 is smaller than 10. Yeah, 7 is smaller than 10. But when you enter the land of negatives, smaller in air quotes means you're deeper down, and negative 10 is deeper down than negative 7. So in this case, when I think of who's smaller, I'm going to get rid of the negative 10x like this. Next, I'm going to kill these x's, and I'm going to flush drop everything down. What will my whole next line say, left to right?
4 equals negative 8. Plus x.
You see our path is set now. You are locked in after you do one thing. What is the next step? Adding 8 is the only correct answer there. We add 8, close it off. Add 8, close it off. Kill the 8s, drop the baggage. 3x equals, what's 4 plus 8?
12.
What is the last step?
Divide by 3.
Me too. It's hard for us to not be distracted when people are loud in the halls, but you just have to be like ironclad focused. Get used to it. It happens all the time around here. So box it up. This last example, which it actually, I might call an audible and add one more in, because I actually want to do a problem the wrong way and show you that it still works. just so we're clear. But this last example has a very specific purpose also. Oopsie, that's not supposed to be there. No 11. No negative, I mean. 11 minus 3m equals negative 4m plus 11. If my words have been spent well today, you know the answer to this question. What are we going to do first?
Positive 4.
Yes, we are going to ignore the 11s. They're dead to us. We're going to look at the m's, and we all know that negative 4m's are smaller than negative 3m's, so he gets our target. So let's add 4m to both sides. Good.
Instead, so you cross it out.
Cross these out. Drop down the structure, the extra stuff that comes along. The 11 comes down. This 11 comes down. And this problem kind of has two purposes. First off, what's negative 3m plus 4m?
I mean, 1.
It's 1m. And guess what I'm not going to write?
Mm.
I'm not going to write 1m. I'm going to write m. Putting 1m makes me feel like I'm not done. And if I just put m, I'm like, jackpot, baby. The math gods just saved me a step. You get 1m, it's like a treat. You don't have to do the last division. But we do have to do one more thing. What is it?
You take out the 11.
This 11 needs to die because it's bothering my m. So I'm going to subtract 11. And this was inspired by a question I got a lot yesterday about people tend to freak out when the number 0 shows up like it's a big deal. It's not a deal. It's a number. What's 11 minus 11? Is 0. Box it up and move on with your life. I'd like to do a problem quickly with you the wrong way. Because you might walk away from this lecture and say, oh, bless you, like your mom's working on your math with you. You say, oh, Mr. Ayers said I have to do it this way. It's not what I'm saying. You should, but you don't have to. So let's mess one up on purpose, but let's still get it right. Are you ready? Let's do negative 5x plus 13 equals negative 2x minus 8. If you've been listening, you know that I want you to add 5x to both sides, right?
Yeah.
Let's screw it up. Let's just throw caution to the wind and forget all this nonsense and let's just do whatever we want. Let's just say, YOLO, I'm going to pick whatever I want. I'm a rebel. I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides. You think this will work? It will. You just have lost your control of the variables, but I want to show you that at the end of the day, you're big kids. You'll be fine. I'm doing something good because I'm getting rid of a plus 13. That, by definition, is progress. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cancel out those 13s. What am I going to bring down?
The variables.
The negative 5x is going to come down, and the equal sign is going to come down. And what is the right side going to say? Negative 2x minus I don't like this. I feel like I've lost control, but it's okay. We're going to recover. So think about this now. If the 8 and the 13 got together and made a 21, that now means that the variables have to then show themselves to the other side.
So, you positive 3x.
Yes. Do you understand? Like, let me ask you this. You come to me with knowledge. Why would I not now add 5x to the other side? What would happen that's bad?
It'd go to -7.
It's not that.
Oh, you would have,
Say that again. Yeah, I never want to make my problem so there wouldn't be anything on a side. If I decide to murder off this -5x, I've left the left side just buck naked over there. It's got nothing, right? We don't want that. Our choice has been made for us now. By moving all the numbers over here and making this -21, we have no options at this point but to take the 2x and move it over to the other side like this.
weird.
There's a word that has a negative connotation in American history, and it's called segregation. And if you misuse that word or use it in a certain context, it takes us back to a very dark time in our country's history. However, segregation does not necessarily mean racial injustice and hatred and things like that. In algebra, I use the word segregation because that's what we're doing. That's what makes you a good equation solver, is if you understand all I'm trying to do is segregate the variables from the numbers. Do you get that?
Yeah.
I don't give a rip. Cal could put the variables on the left and the numbers on the right. And Justice could put the variables on the right and the number. I don't care. As long as they are segregated, separated so that I can finish the problem, that's all that matters. We're going to get there in the end. Let's cross off our -2x and our +2x, and let's bring down the structure. I'm going to bring down my -21. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. And again, I got to do math. No getting around it.
-3x.
It is -3x. And then I can finish. What do I do?
Divide the, -3.
Correct.
Both sides.
Just -3. And x equals
+7.
done. And I guarantee you that we would have gotten the same answer had we added 5x in the first step. Right? It's okay. So I don't want you to walk away from this and go home and tell your dad that you have to do it a certain way. I'm telling you, I think you should control the variables and kill the smallest one first. Any questions? I will tell you before you begin, having clicked through and I click. Again, I did not see any answers that came out as fractions. I saw answers like 0 and 9 and -4 and 1. So as you work on assignment 3 today, if you get something that doesn't divide, I think you probably did something wrong. Okay.